I have always believed love needs effort. I'm not loud. I am not dramatic. I'm the kind of husband who fixes things quietly and hopes no one notices the cracks. Tonight, I told myself I would fix my marriage. I checked my phone again. 7:02 p.m. So, would you like to order while you wait? The waiter asked gently. She's coming, I said. Just give her 5 more minutes. He nodded. Of course. I touched the small velvet box in my pocket. It was not jewelry. It was a silver bookmark engraved with our wedding date. Lena used to love reading before sleep. I thought it might remind her of us. My phone buzzed. Lena, I can't come. My junior needs me. I stayed at the message. I typed, we had a reservation. She replied almost instantly. It's urgent. Don't make this a big deal. I called her. She answered on the 3rd ring. What? I'm at the restaurant, I said. You said you'd be here. I know what I said, she replied. Kevin messed up a client report. I have to help him fix it. It's Friday night, and it's my job. So am I said quietly. She sighed. Why are you being jealous again? I'm not jealous. It sounds like you are. I just wanted one dinner with my wife. You're overthinking this. I booked this 2 weeks ago, and I said something came up. Something or someone. Her voice turned cold. Don't start. I'm not starting. I'm asking. You're insecure. That's the problem. I swallowed. Do you hear yourself? I don't have time for this. Kevin is waiting. Those words sat heavier than they should have. Have dinner alone, she added. We'll talk later. The line went dead. The waiter returned. So? She's not coming, I said. I'm sorry to hear that. It's fine, I lied. Just water. I watched other couples around me. A man fed his girlfriend a piece of cake. A woman leaned on her husband's shoulder. I used to have that. My phone buzzed again. A notification from Instagram. Lena posted a story. I told myself not to open it. I opened it. She wasn't in an office. She wasn't reviewing files. She was at a bar. Loud music in the background. Neon lights flashing. Kevin sat beside her, holding up 2 glasses. She laughed. Not a polite laugh. A real one. Kevin's voice came through the video. To the best mentor ever. She clinked glasses with him. To fixing mistakes. My chest tightened. I replayed it. Maybe I misunderstood. But there it was. Her hand resting on his arm. His smile too confident. Her eyes too soft. I called her again. She declined it. I texted, you said it was urgent. She replied after a minute. We finished. Team celebration. You and him. Stop interrogating me. Why didn't you tell me you were going out? Because you'd react like this. I stayed at the empty chair across from me. I typed slowly. I'm not reacting. I'm just tired. She sent one more message. You embarrassing yourself. I locked my phone. The waiter approached carefully. Sir, would you like to cancel the order? Yes, I said. Cancel everything. Are you sure? Yes. He hesitated. Would you like me to pack something for you? No, thank you. I stood up, but my legs felt weak. I sat back down. I called Marcus. He picked up. How'd the big night go? She didn't come. A pause. Kevin. Yes. What happened? She said he needed her. And she's at a bar with him. Marcus exhaled slowly. Send me the story. I did. He replied after a moment. That's not work. I know. You okay? I don't know. You deserve better. I just wanted her to choose me once, I said. Maybe she already did, he answered quietly. What do you mean? She chose him. The words hurt because they were simple. I'm not jealous, I whispered. You don't sound jealous, Marcus said. You sound hurt. I trusted her. I know. I ended the call. I looked at the velvet box in my hand. I opened it. The silver bookmark shined under the soft restaurant lights. I imagined giving it to her. I imagined her smiling. That version of us felt far away. My phone buzzed again. Lena, don't wait up. I typed, I won't. Then I added, enjoy your night. She left it on read. I stood up, placed some cash on the table for the water, and walked out. Outside, the air felt colder than it should have. I checked her story one last time. She was leaning closer to Kevin now. Someone else was filming. She looked free, light, unbothered. Something inside me went quiet. Not angry, not loud, just quiet. I slid the velvet box back into my pocket. Tonight was not just a failed dinner. It was the first night I realized I was eating alone in a marriage meant for two. And as I walked to my car, I understood something clearly for the first time. This was not the beginning of a fight. I did not always feel this small. 8 years ago, I met Lena in a crowded university hallway. She dropped her books, and I picked them up. "Thank you," she said, brushing her hair behind her ear. "You're welcome. You're not in my class." "No, I just work here part-time." "You work and study." "I try." She smiled at me like I was impressive. That smile used to mean something. Later that week, she asked, "Do you believe in big dreams?" "I believe in hard work," I replied. "Good," she said, "because I'm going to be successful." "I know," I told her, "and I'll support you." I meant it. I worked 2 jobs while she studied. I stocked shelves at night. I handled calls at a small office during the day. One evening, she looked at me across our tiny apartment. "You look tired." "I'm fine. You don't have to do all this." "I want to." She touched my hand. "When I make it, I'll take care of you." I laughed. "We'll take care of each other." Back then, we were a team. Years passed. She got hired at a fast-growing company. I paid the rent while she climbed. "I got promoted," she said one night, throwing her bag on the couch. "That's amazing," I said. "I'm proud of you." "You should be," she replied. "I work hard." "I know you did." She stopped asking if I was tired. She stopped touching my hand. One afternoon, she mentioned Kevin for the first time. "There's this junior," she said while scrolling through her phone. "He's talented but careless." "What's his name?" "Kevin." "Does he respect you?" "Of course. Why wouldn't he?" "I'm just asking." She looked at me sharply. "You're not jealous, are you?" "No." "Good. I hate insecurity." I swallowed my thoughts. Months later, I met Kevin at a company dinner. He smiled too widely. "So you're the famous husband." "Famous." She talked about how you supported her. I nodded. "That's what partners do." He leaned closer to her. "She's incredible, you know." "I know," I said again. He laughed easily. Too easily. At home, I asked her, "Does he always talk like that?" "Like what?" "Like he's proving something. He's ambitious. He looks at you like." "Like what?" "Like he needs you." She crossed her arms. "He does need me. I'm his mentor." "I'm just saying." "You're overthinking." Maybe I was. The next morning, Mrs. Chen stopped me in the hallway. "You work too much," she said softly. "It's fine. Your wife comes home late. She's busy." She studied my face. "Are you happy?" I forced a smile. "Of course." She did not look convinced. That night, I met Marcus for coffee. He watched me stir my drink without tasting it. "She skipped your dinner," he said. "Yes." "For him?" "Yes." He leaned back. "You remember who you were when you met her." "What do you mean?" "You were loud. You had opinions." "I still do." "Do you?" I didn't answer. He continued, "You used to argue about movies. Now you just agree with whatever she says." "That's not true." "Last month, you canceled your trip because she had a work thing. It was important. To her." I looked at him. "She's building her career. And you're shrinking yours." "I'm supporting her." "You're losing yourself trying to keep her." His words stayed between us. "I'm not losing myself," I said quietly. "Then who are you now?" he asked. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. He softened his voice. "I'm not attacking you. I'm worried. She loves me. Does she respect you?" I looked down. He sighed. "Love without respect fades fast. She just needs space." "She has space. She has freedom. She has support. What do you have?" I thought about that. At home, I stood in front of the mirror. I barely recognized the man staring back. I used to talk about starting my own firm. I used to dream about traveling. Now I waited for her schedule. I adjusted my plans around Kevin's emergencies. I told myself I was being mature, but maturity should not feel like silence. Later that week, I heard Lena laughing in the kitchen while texting. "Who's that?" I asked. "Kevin," she said casually. "He fixed the report." "That's good." She didn't look up. "See? I told you he just needed guidance." "Does he text you this late often?" She sighed. "Please don't start again." "I'm just asking." "You always just ask." "It's exhausting." I nodded. "Okay." She walked past me without another word. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Marcus's voice echoed in my head. You're losing yourself trying to keep her. The next morning, I searched for a divorce lawyer. My finger hovered over the call button. I hesitated. Then I pressed it. Law office of Mr. Halim, a calm voice answered. I'd like to schedule a consultation, I said. Is this about separation? Yes. When are you available? Today, I replied. As I ended the call, my hands trembled. I did not feel angry. I felt empty. 8 years ago, I promised to support her dreams. Today, I realized I had forgotten my own. And for the first time, I wondered if loving her had cost me myself. I sat across from Mr. Halim and kept my hands folded so he would not see them shake. So, he said gently, how long have you been married? 8 years. Children? No. Shared property. The apartment is in both our names. He nodded and wrote something down. Are you certain about this? I stared at the pen in his hand. I'm certain I can't keep living like this. Is there abuse? No. Infidelity. I hesitated. Not officially. He looked at me carefully, but emotionally. Yes. He closed the file slowly. Sometimes emotional distance hurts more. I didn't come here for revenge, I said. I just want peace. That makes things simpler, he replied. We can file for mutual separation. It will be faster if she agrees. And if she doesn't, then it becomes complicated. I exhaled. She won't see it coming. Why? Because she thinks I'll always stay. Mr. Halim leaned back. People often mistake patience for weakness. I did too. He slid a paper toward me. These are the initial documents. Read them carefully. I scanned the page. My name beside hers. Lines dividing assets. Dates. Signatures waiting. It feels strange, I admitted. Ending something always does. Do you think I'm giving up too easily? He studied me. You look like a man who has already tried. I didn't argue. When I left his office, I did not cry. I just felt quiet. At home, Lena was on the couch, laptop open. You're late, she said without looking at me. I had errands. What errands? Work things. She nodded distractedly. Kevin submitted the revised proposal today. The client loved it. That's good. She finally looked up. Why do you sound like that? Like what? Flat. I'm tired. You're always tired lately. I almost laughed. That's new. She frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. She closed her laptop. If you have something to say, just say it. I don't. Then stop acting strange. I'm not acting. She shook her head. You've been distant since that dinner. You didn't come. I told you why. You said it was urgent. It was. You were at a bar. She stiffened. You check my story. It was public. You don't trust me. I'm trying to. She stood up. Kevin is my junior. That's it. Then why does it feel like I'm competing? You're not competing. You're imagining things. I don't want to imagine anything anymore. She grabbed her bag. I can't deal with this tonight. Where are you going? Out. With him. She glared at me. Good night. The door shut harder than necessary. I stood there for a long time. Then I walked into the bedroom and opened my closet. I pulled out an old suitcase. I didn't pack everything. Just documents. My passport. Important files. The next morning, I opened a new bank account. Are you sure you want to separate your finances? The bank asked. Yes. Is there a specific reason? Personal. He nodded and processed the request. I canceled our anniversary trip online. The confirmation email felt colder than it should have. That evening, Lena noticed. Why did you cancel Bali? She demanded. I thought you were too busy. We could have gone next month. You said work comes first. She crossed her arms. Don't twist my words. I'm not twisting anything. You're punishing me. For what? For working hard. I supported your work for 8 years. And I appreciated it. Did you? Of course I did. Then why does it feel like I disappeared? She stared at me, confused. You're being dramatic. I'm being honest. She scoffed. This is about Kevin again. No, I said quietly. This is about us. There is no us problem. You're just insecure. I felt something settle inside me. I'm not insecure, I replied. I'm exhausted. She threw her hands up. So what do you want from me? I almost told her everything. Instead, I said, nothing. She blinked. Nothing. I don't want you to change. I don't want you to apologize. Then what is this? It's clarity. She laughed sharply. You're not making sense. Maybe I finally am. She shook her head and walked away. Later that night, I sat at my desk. I took the papers Mr. Halim gave me out of my bag. The words looked heavier under the lamp. I signed my name slowly. Each letter felt final. My hand trembled only once. When I finished, I stacked the papers neatly and placed them inside the drawer. I closed it gently. Lena walked past the room. "Are you coming to bed?" she asked. "In a minute. Don't stay up too late." "I won't." She paused. "We're okay, right?" I looked at her silhouette in the hallway. "We're fine," I said. She nodded and disappeared into the bedroom. I listened to the quiet hum of the house. 8 years of memories sat in these walls. But tonight, the future felt separate. The papers rested in the drawer, silent and patient, just like I used to be. Only this time, I wasn't waiting to fix things. I was waiting to end them. Lena didn't come home that night. At 10:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Team celebration. Don't wait." I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Okay." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No explanation. No apology. At 11:30 p.m., I heard a soft knock on the door. When I opened it, Mrs. Chen stood there in her robe. "I'm sorry to disturb you," she said gently. "It's fine, Mrs. Chen." She hesitated. "I saw your wife leave earlier." "I know." She wasn't alone. My chest tightened. "Kevin." She nodded slowly. They looked close. "Thank you for telling me." She studied my face. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine. You don't have to pretend with me." I forced a small smile. "I appreciate it." She touched my arm. "You deserve respect." When she left, the apartment felt even quieter. I sat on the couch and called Lena. She declined it. I tried again. Declined. I texted, "Can we talk?" She replied 15 minutes later. "I'm busy. Busy celebrating." "Stop this." "Stop what?" "Acting like I owe you updates every second." "You're my wife." "Exactly. Not your employee." I stated that line. "I'm not controlling you." I typed. "It feels like it." "Then maybe something's wrong." She didn't reply. Midnight passed. At 12:38 a.m., I saw her post another story. Music. Lights. Kevin leaning close to whisper something in her ear. She smiled. I put my phone down. I walked into the bedroom and opened the closet. I took out the suitcase again. This time, I started packing clothes. Not angrily. Not fast. Just steady. At 1:12 a.m., my phone rang. It was Marcus. "I saw her story," he said. "I know. You okay?" "Yes." "You don't sound okay." "I think I'm done." He was quiet for a moment. "Done as in, done?" "Yes." "You sure?" "I waited at that table alone," I said. "Tonight she chose him again." "Where is she?" "Out. With him." "Yes." Marcus exhaled sharply. "Do you want me to come over?" "No. I need to do this alone." "What are you doing?" "Packing." A pause. "You already signed?" "Yes." "Then don't hesitate." "I'm not." "You deserve better." "I know." After I hung up, I walked to the kitchen. I opened the drawer. I took out the divorce papers. I placed them on the dining table. I added a pen beside them. Then I went back to the bedroom. I removed my wedding ring. I held it between my fingers. 8 years. I placed it on top of the papers. At 2:03 a.m., Lena finally called. I let it ring once. Twice. Then I answered. "What?" she said loudly. Music blasted behind her. "Are you coming home?" "Maybe later. It's 2 in the morning." So I'm asking. "You're interrogating." "I'm asking." She laughed, but it sounded irritated. "Kevin just made a joke about you." I went silent. "What joke?" I asked. "He said you probably check my location every hour." "Do you find that funny?" "It's harmless." "Does he know he's the reason we're fighting?" "We're fighting because you're insecure." "I'm fighting because I feel replaced." "You're not replaced." "Then why does he get your time and I don't?" She didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, "I can't deal with this tonight." "Of course you can't. Stop it. Come home." "I'll come when I'm done." "Done with what?" "Good night." She hung up. I stood there holding the silent phone. Something inside me stopped hoping. At 3:15 a.m., I zipped the suitcase closed. I wrote one message. The papers on the table. I didn't send it. Instead, I turned my phone off. Before leaving, I looked around the apartment. The couch where we used to watch movies. The dining table where we used to eat instant noodles when we were broke. The hallway where she once hugged me and said, "I couldn't do this without you." Now she was doing everything without me. I carried the suitcase to the door. As I opened it, I heard laughter echo faintly from the elevator. Lena's voice. Kevin's voice. I froze. They stopped outside our door. I stepped back into the shadows. I didn't want to see their faces. I heard her say softly, "Thank you for tonight." He replied, "Anytime. You deserve to relax." Relax. The door unlocked. I walked past them without looking up. She gasped. "Where are you going?" "Out. With that suitcase." "Yes. It's almost 4. "I know. Are you serious right now?" "Yes." Kevin stood awkwardly near the elevator. "Is this about me?" he asked. I looked at him for the first time. "It's not about you," I said calmly. "It's about respect." Lena grabbed my arm. "Don't be dramatic." "I'm not. You're overreacting. I waited for you. I told you I was busy. You were drinking." She let go of my arm. "So what?" "So I'm done." Her expression changed slightly. "Done with what?" I looked at her. "With this." Kevin cleared his throat. "Maybe I should." "Yes," I said without raising my voice. "You should." He stepped back into the elevator. Lena stared at me. "You're not leaving." "I already did." "What does that mean?" "You'll see." She laughed nervously. "Stop playing games." "I'm not playing." I stepped into the hallway. She followed me. "We'll talk in the morning." There's nothing left to say. "You're being ridiculous." "Maybe." "Come back inside." I shook my head. As the elevator doors closed between us, I saw confusion replace her anger. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing her. I wasn't explaining myself. I wasn't apologizing. The doors shut, and I left her standing there. I didn't go back home that night. Instead, I stayed in a small hotel, unpacked my suitcase, and sat by the window looking at the city lights. My phone buzzed. "Lena." I ignored it. Then Marcus called. "I saw her story again," he said. His voice was cautious. "She's panicking." "What do you mean?" "She came home, and the apartment was empty." I pictured it in my head. The closet bay, the papers on the table, the silence. "She's calling you?" Marcus asked. "She is." "I'm not picking up." "Are you sure about this?" "Yes. I need to do this on my own." "You're strong, man. Don't let her guilt pull you back." "I won't." I put my phone down. Later, I got a text from Lena. "Why did you leave?" I typed slowly, "You'll see." Then I deleted it. Instead, I sat and remembered our apartment, the couch, the dining table, the little lamp Lena always turned on at night. I used to come home excited to see her, to tell her about my day. Now, the walls felt cold. I thought about Kevin, about her laughing with him. A pang of anger hit, then faded. I realized I didn't care to fight. I just cared about clarity. I made a decision. This was the final step. The next morning, I called my bank. I transferred funds to a separate account. All shared cards were canceled. "Do you want to notify your wife?" the banker asked. "No," I said. "She'll notice." I walked past our apartment that day, pretending nothing had changed. I didn't go in. I just looked at the door. No one answered. I called Marcus. "It's done," I said. "She's here alone." "Good," he replied. "Now it's her move. She'll panic soon enough." By evening, I started hearing things from neighbors, little snippets. "She's asking for him," Mrs. Chen whispered softly when I met her outside. I nodded. "She will find out soon." "Be careful," she said. "People break in silence." "I know," I told her, but I needed silence. Inside the empty apartment, Lena must have walked through every room, searching for signs of me. Every closet, every shelf, every drawer. When she opened the dining table drawer and saw the divorce papers, I imagined her hands trembling. Her phone must have lit up with unanswered calls. Marcus texted me later. "She called 27 times." I smiled faintly. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. I remembered the nights I waited up for her, the mornings I woke to make her coffee, the weekends I canceled for her work. All of it. And I realized I was finally free. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel happy. I felt light. I stayed in the hotel for a week, checking in on her only through brief updates from Marcus. Kevin was avoiding her now. Work gossip had spread. Lena's calls kept coming. Every missed call was a reminder she noticed something was different. I did not answer once. At night, I walked the streets, breathing in the quiet. No arguments. No apologies. No explanations needed. Finally, I returned to the apartment, not to reclaim it, but to remember it. The empty walls, the silent rooms, the faint scent of our shared life. It was strange. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I wasn't waiting for anyone. I wasn't hoping for anything. I had learned what mattered. And it wasn't her. By the end of the week, I packed the last of my things and left the keys on the counter. She would come home one last time and see nothing but emptiness. And I walked away knowing she would feel the weight of her choices before I ever did. Peace settled over me like a heavy blanket. For the first time, I felt untouchable. Not through pride. Not through anger. Through clarity. I was free. I was finally free. I was in my office when the first rumor hit. My phone buzzed. It was Marcus. "Have you heard?" he asked. "About what?" "Kevin. He messed up a client presentation. Big mistake. They are transferring him." I leaned back in my chair. So Lena defended him publicly. I felt a quiet satisfaction, not joy. That sounds like trouble waiting to happen. Exactly. Her promotion might be at risk. I didn't reply. I watched the sunlight streak across the office blinds. Later, I got a text from Aisha, my colleague. "Are you okay? Everyone's talking about the office drama." "I'm fine," I replied. "Do you want to talk?" "No, I'm watching Karma quietly work." I smiled. At lunch, I overheard my assistant. "Lena's panicking. Kevin's being moved, and the board isn't happy with her decision to defend him." I poured my coffee slowly. Later, my phone rang. It was Lena. "Where are you?" she asked nervously. "I'm at the office," I said calmly. "Can we talk?" "No, please. Just a few minutes. I'm busy." There was a pause. Then she said softly, I didn't think this would happen." "I didn't either," I said. "But choices have consequences. I thought I could fix it all." "You tried fixing Kevin at your expense," I said. "And now it's costing you." I didn't mean." "You didn't mean what?" I asked sharply. "To replace me." She didn't answer. I ended the call. Later, I met with Mr. Rahman, my boss. "You've been doing excellent work," he said. "I want you to lead a project overseas. Big opportunity." "Thank you," I said quietly. "You deserve recognition," he continued. "Not distraction." I thought about Lena, Kevin, and the empty apartment. "Yes," I said. "I'll take it." That evening, Marcus texted. "She's coming to your office building." I exhaled slowly. The elevator doors opened. She stepped out, her heels clicking nervously. Kevin was nowhere in sight. "Why are you here?" I asked. I wanted to apologize," she said, voice trembling. "Apologize for what?" "For everything. I made a mistake." I leaned against the wall. "Mistake or choice?" I chose wrong," she admitted. "You chose him over me. Twice." "I know," she whispered. "And?" I asked calmly. I don't know how to fix it." "Some things don't need fixing," I said. "They need learning." Her eyes widened. You defended him at your cost," I said. "You lost respect, influence, and credibility. And for what? Pride? Infatuation? Temporary attention?" She looked down, ashamed. I could see it, the regret forming slowly across her face. "You're finally seeing it," I said quietly. "But seeing it doesn't undo it." "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. "I wasn't hurt because of Kevin," I said. "I was hurt because you chose him over what we built." The silence stretched. Then she asked softly, "Do you still care?" "I do," I said. "But care without respect is pointless." Her lips trembled. I never realized. I didn't let her finish. Realization comes too late sometimes. She stepped back, looking small, fragile, human. And I realized the power shift was complete. She no longer controlled me. Kevin no longer mattered. Her panic, her regret, her failure, it was natural, slow, satisfying. I didn't gloat. I didn't mock. I simply watched. "Can we start over?" she asked hesitantly. "Some doors," I said softly, "once closed, are not meant to open again." Her shoulders slumped. The elevator dinged behind her. She turned back, eyes filled with unshed tears. "Goodbye," I said. She didn't reply. I turned back to my office, my future waiting. The night she laughed with Kevin was over. The night she faced the consequences of her choices had just begun. I sat at my desk, feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because I had taken revenge. Not because I had won. Because I had finally stopped being a shadow of myself. And watching karma quietly crash around her reminded me. Some lessons are unavoidable. And some freedom is earned. I didn't see Lena for 2 days after that office confrontation. My phone buzzed. "Marcus, she's asking to meet," he said. "I'm not sure I want to." I admitted. You have to choose revenge, forgiveness, or moving on. I don't know if I can forgive her. You don't have to forgive her. You just have to choose yourself. I stayed out the window. The city lights blurred through my thoughts. I finally replied, I'll meet her. We met at a quiet cafe. Thank you for seeing me, she said nervously, sliding into the seat across from me. You said you wanted to talk, I said. I made mistakes. Kevin, it wasn't supposed to go that far. I know, I said. I've seen enough. I want to try again, she said, eyes pleading. Counseling, rebuilding. I shook my head. You want to fix the pain you caused me. But fixing that isn't simple. It can be, she insisted. We can work through it. I'll do anything. I looked down at my hands. Anything often meant nothing. Do you love me? She asked softly. I did, I said. I do, sometimes. But love without respect isn't enough. Her lips trembled. I can respect you again. I'll change. Change isn't enough when the foundation is broken, I said quietly. She leaned forward. Then what do you want? I want clarity. I want myself back. I want to stop shrinking to keep someone else happy. She blinked. So, it's over. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm protecting myself. She leaned back, tears welling. But I still love you. I know, I said. Love alone doesn't fix betrayal. She looked down. So, this is the end. Yes, I said gently. Some doors close, even if you want them open. It's about respect, for both of us. She shook her head. I can't believe it. You'll get used to it, I said softly. We sat in silence for a long moment. I watched the sunlight reflect in her eyes, the same eyes I fell in love with, now full of regret. Marcus's words echoed in my head. You don't have to forgive her. You just have to choose yourself. I had to choose myself. For the first time in years, I felt calm. Not angry, not bitter, just free. She finally spoke. I'm sorry for everything. I really am. I know, I said. Her phone buzzed. Kevin, no doubt. She glanced at it. I stood. I need to go. Where? She asked. Somewhere I belong, I said. Her eyes followed me. Will you ever forgive me? I paused. Not because I wanted to, but because forgiveness isn't mine to give. I'll heal, I said. And that's enough for me. I left the cafe, leaving her behind. The sun felt warmer on my face. The air felt lighter. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for someone else's choices to define me. I walked away knowing I had made the only choice that truly mattered, choosing myself. And that choice felt like freedom. I arrived at the lawyer's office early. The air smelled faintly of paper and polished wood. Mr. Halim greeted me calmly. Ready? I am, I said, though my hands still trembled slightly. She arrived 5 minutes later, looking smaller than I remembered. Her hair was tied back, her eyes avoiding mine. Do you have to be so formal? She asked nervously. It's a legal matter, I replied. Not a dinner party. She swallowed. I didn't think it would come to this. Neither did I said quietly. But some choices aren't meant to be undone. She glanced at the papers on the table. Do we really have to sign? Yes, I said. We already agreed this is the only way forward. Her hand trembled as she picked up the pen. I never realized what I had until I lost it. Regret doesn't undo damage, I said softly. She nodded, avoiding my gaze. I know, but I want to try, at least, to make amends. I'm not asking for amends, I replied. I'm asking for clarity. And clarity is hey. She exhaled, staring at the pen in her hand. Then, slowly, she signed. I watched her every movement. The pen scratched against the paper, a sound that felt louder than the world outside. I picked up the pen next. My signature was deliberate, final. We sat in silence. You're walking away, she said quietly, almost a whisper. I am, I said. And not out of anger, not out of victory, but because I chose myself. Her eyes glistened. If I could go back. You can't, I said softly. And even if you could, you should have never needed to choose. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I didn't realize how much I depended on you. Dependence is different from respect, I said. You had one. You lost the other. She looked at the papers. It feels empty. Because it's honest, I said. And honesty feels empty when we wish for illusions. Her voice trembled. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. She wiped her eyes. Will you ever forgive me? I paused. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say no. But forgiveness isn't always about words. I'll move on, I said. That's enough for me. She nodded slowly, understanding more than I expected. The office was quiet except for the hum of the air conditioner. Finally, I stood. Goodbye, I said. She blinked, eyes wide, a mix of sorrow and understanding. Goodbye, she echoed. I walked toward the door, feeling the weight of the past lift with each step. Outside, the sun was setting. The city felt alive, buzzing with possibilities. For the first time in years, I breathed without constraint. No one's choices controlled me anymore. I could rebuild. I could grow. I could finally live for myself. I felt the papers in my pocket, the silent record of what had been and what would never return. And I realized that ending a chapter doesn't always mean losing. It often means finding. I stopped on the sidewalk, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face, the cool evening air around me. A taxi honked. A bus rumbled past. People laughed somewhere down the street. I smiled faintly. The night she laughed with Kevin was over. The night she understood the weight of her choices had begun. And I was free, completely. For the first time, I wasn't running from pain. I wasn't waiting for apologies. I was walking toward a life I had chosen. And that life felt endless, open, and mine. I stepped into the street, letting the city embrace me, letting every step mark the end of one story and the start of another. I had signed the papers. She had signed the papers. But more importantly, I had signed for myself. And that signature felt heavier than all the past regrets, yet lighter than any hope I'd ever held. It was final. It was mine. It was freedom. I woke up that morning with no alarm, no expectation, no one to answer to but myself. The apartment I had rented felt unfamiliar and yet freeing. I walked through the rooms, noting the sunlight spilling across the hardwood floors. It wasn't our apartment. It wasn't Lena's apartment. It was mine. I poured coffee, black, no sugar. I took it to the balcony and leaned against the railing, looking at the city waking up. People rushed to work, children laughed on the street, taxis honked, and life continued. Nothing had stopped. Nothing had changed, except me. Marcus called. Good morning, he said cheerfully. Morning, I replied, sipping my coffee. Sleep well. Better than I have in years. That's good. You look lighter. I feel lighter, I said. You finally did it, he said softly. You let go. I didn't just let go, I replied. I chose myself. There was silence on the line for a moment. That's the hardest part, he finally said. Most people can't. I know. I hung up and took a deep breath. The city smelled like rain and possibility. I had no plan yet, no direction. But for the first time, that didn't scare me. It excited me. I spent the next few days slowly unpacking, arranging things the way I liked. Minimalism, order, simplicity. Every item had a purpose, unlike the chaos I had left behind. I walked the streets without checking my phone for her messages. I didn't think about Kevin. I didn't think about the past. I only thought about the present, and it felt mine. A week later, I met with a potential client at a cafe. The meeting went perfectly. I felt competent. I felt respected. I felt like the man I had once been and more, the man I had allowed myself to become again. After the meeting, I called Marcus. He likes you, he asked. They love my ideas, I said. I'm considering the contract. Look at you, he said. Back on top. Feels good. It feels like I'm finally me, I said. That evening, I walked through a park. Children played, dogs ran, couples held hands. I smiled at strangers, felt the breeze on my face, and realized I hadn't done this in years. Not really. Not without thinking about her. A small bookstore caught my eye. I went in. Books lined the walls, old and new, smelling of paper and possibilities. I remembered the silver bookmark I had bought her years ago. I smiled faintly. That was for someone else, but the love of books, that was mine too. I picked up a journal and a pen. I wrote my thoughts, unfiltered, honest. No one would read this but me. It felt good to put words on paper, to own them. I walked home, journal in hand, thinking about how much I had given away and how much I had kept. At night, I opened my laptop. I drafted plans for my own business, ideas I had shelved for years. Consulting, mentoring, projects that excited me. The future was wide open. And this time, it was my choice entirely. I thought about Lena once. Just once. She had her lessons. She had her consequences. I wished her no harm. I wished her clarity, as I had wished for myself. Then I closed the thought. It didn't belong in my life anymore. The weeks passed. I built routines. I cooked my meals. I laughed at small things. I went out with friends, Marcus mostly. I didn't rush, I didn't hide, I didn't shrink. One afternoon, as I was leaving a coffee shop, I saw a street musician playing guitar. The music was raw, honest. I dropped a few bills into the case and smiled at the young man. "Thanks, man," he said. "No, thank you," I replied. I walked down the street, music fading behind me. I thought about trust, about love, about respect. I thought about choices, the ones we make for others and the ones we make for ourselves. I realized something important. Freedom is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. It's quiet. It's simple. It doesn't require anyone else. It only requires courage. I had that courage now. I returned home and sat at my desk. I opened the journal. I wrote down the events of the past year. Everything I had felt, everything I had learned. I didn't edit, didn't censor. I simply wrote. By the time I finished, the sun was setting. Orange and gold spilled across the sky. I stepped onto the balcony again, breathing deeply, feeling the wind in my hair. The city was alive. I was alive. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel invisible. I felt powerful, not because I controlled others, not because I had won revenge, but because I had claimed myself. I was whole. I smiled at the horizon, letting the light wash over me. It was my life, my rules, my choices, and no one could take that from me. The future stretched wide before me, unknown and full of promise. I stepped back into my apartment, closed the door, and locked it. Everything I had lost was gone. Everything I had left was mine. And I was finally completely free.